Good morning, everybody. This is kind of an introduction to Honor Flight. I'm really excited for you guys to learn a little bit more and how you guys are going to take part, a little part in celebrating and honoring veterans. These are my new friends, Miss Baker and Mr. Guile, and they are from the Honor Flight organization. So let's be very respectful. Before we get started, who has a parent or grandparent that's a veteran? Okay, good. A lot of people, awesome.
That's part of my bit, so thank you.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to steal your thunder. So Brooke, you want to come up? Who has a parent? Anybody else have a parent? Yeah, Brooke, come on up. And Riley, one of your parents was in the service?
My parents are living young.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Come on up. Okay. All right. So before we get started, why don't we stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. So let's give our attention to, like I said, Ms. Baker and Mr. Guile. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am so excited to be here this is actually Veteran Guile. He is one of our flown veterans. He has already gone on his honor flight, so he's going to speak after me and explain what the trip is like. And then I'll come back and talk about an important thing you're going to be doing. All right. I am very happy to be here and that you are writing letters for our veterans. It's very, very important. Now, some of you may know a little bit about Honor Flight. I'm going to help you learn more, as is Veteran Guile. Honor Flight is an organization. We are all volunteers. There are several throughout the country, and the whole goal is to take our veterans down to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials that are dedicated to them. Now, veteran. What's a veteran? What's a veteran? Show of hands only. What's a veteran right here?
Someone that's served in the Army.
Yes, someone that served in one of the branches. Yes. What else?
Someone who had fully had gone to the beginning and finally fully to the end. And kind of finished it.
After they served, they're a veteran? I see what you mean, yes. Somebody who finished their service and they're done, but they're always going to be a veteran. You're right. Now, can men and women be veterans?
Yes.
Absolutely. Do they have to serve only in this country, only overseas, or both? Both. Yeah, both. They can do a job here in the United States, or they could go over to another country and do something there for them. How about, are veterans only veterans if they serve in a war? No, not at all. If they serve at any time, they are considered veterans. 5 branches of service. Show of hands again. Name one. The Army. The Navy, let's go over here in the blue. The Air Force, oh, we're doing good so far, right here. Navy or SEALs are part of the Navy, but they're very important, okay? Marines, we got one more. This is the one that stumps everybody. Right there in the red.
Military.
They're all military. In the back. Space Force. Not quite yet, but I think eventually they will be. All right, in the blue right next to you. Coast Guard. That's the one that almost everybody forgets. Oops, wrong one. There are the emblems for each one of those branches of service. So we can see each one of them have their own emblem and on their uniforms and anything that has to do with them, you will often see this emblem written there. We have at the Army, the Navy, in the middle, the Marines on the bottom, Coast Guard, and the Air Force, of course, with the eagle on the top. Now, we already had Ms. Anderson steal my thunder a bit about raising hands, but I'd like to see that again. Anybody have an older brother or sister that has served or is serving? Got a few, brother or sister. How about parents? Oh, God, that's really great. That's great. We often don't see that. And grandparents? Yeah, a lot of grandparents. A lot of grandparents. Well, Honor Flight itself is a very special trip, and it takes 2 days to do it. But I don't want to give you any more hints because Veteran Guile is going to explain what happens on an actual honor flight. Take it away.
Okay, first off, Friday night, I think everybody knows the drill. You lay awake all night waiting for the alarm clock to go off. You know what I'm talking about? And then they get up in the middle of the night, which is 4 o'clock in the morning. To me, that's middle of the night. And they go to Rochester, and they have a breakfast for the people, and then they're off to Washington. And they get to see all the war memorials, and every veteran has to go with a guardian. Do you know what a guardian is? Go ahead. Right. And there's a wheelchair for every veteran. And every veteran that goes and says, well, I don't need a wheelchair. But by the time you get halfway through the tour, you need the wheelchair. And one thing, how many kids here have grandparents living that are a veteran? The grandparents are all living? How about great-grandparents? Okay, now see, these 3, 4, 5, 6, those veterans should go now. Because as you can see, there's less living, or there's less living than dead, okay? So in other words, they take the oldest first. Got it? Have anybody here been to a welcome home ceremony? You have? In Rochester? Where'd you go? Whereabouts? Oh, okay. Yeah, good for you. Anybody else been to a homecoming? Yeah. You know what? You're talking to an old guy, can't hear you. You gotta speak up. That's nice. Got stuff here I'm supposed to read. Oh, and I was in the Navy. And the reason I went in the Navy is I was too short to be in the Coast Guard. Because they have to be 6 feet tall. And that's so that they could wade back to shore. The teacher will explain it to you later. Oh, and writing letters. Is this for me too, Cindy?
I'll do the letters, but why don't you talk about the memorials we go to? We have some pictures of those.
Okay, well, okay, the war memorials that they go to is World War II Memorial, Korean War, Vietnam War, Navy Yard, Air Force, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, Iwo Jima, and Women in Service. And it's a long day, but it's a nice day. And they have, Honor Flight in Rochester, we have what they call 6 missions a year. We go 3 in the spring and 3 in the fall. Because the winter is too darn cold, and in the summer it's too hot, so spring and fall is just right. And I guess Cindy's going to tell you about writing letters, but years ago, I'll shut up.
I'll tell you what, let me start the letters and then I'm going to ask you to chime in if I know what you're going to say. Okay?
You do?
I do. I
Okay.
think I do. All right? All right. I'm going to back up just a second so you see the memorials. And how many have been to Washington, D.C.? Just with your family or, yeah. Yeah, so maybe you've seen some of these places. And down there, you can see when we went, when I went on one trip, there were some school children there that were singing to the veterans as we were walking around. But to get there, we fly into Baltimore and we get on buses. And we're escorted into Washington, D.C. It's about a 45-minute ride. And something very special happens on that bus, and that's what we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. But we also go to Korea, Vietnam War, Air Force, like the planes going up in the air, Marine Corps, women in service, and we also stop at the Navy Yard often to have our lunch, so that's another place that we stop. Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, very, very special. All of our veterans, see them in the wheelchair, as Veteran Guile mentioned, they get a front row seat for the changing of the guard. And it's a very, very special, it's very solemn, everybody has to be very quiet, and that's a very special part of our trip as well. So we watched the changing of the guards, and because, I'm going to give away their secret, because they cannot break out of their ceremony and their stride, their walking and their procedures. In order to acknowledge the veterans that are out there in the crowd, they scuff their their toe. And that is a symbol to the veterans that I see you, I respect you, I honor you. Because they can't turn around and say that. So that's something we let our veterans know to watch for with the guard. Down below, you'll see a picture. This is a whole trip worth of veterans, guardians, and our Honor Flight crew who goes down there with them, or other volunteers that go with them to help. So we're a big group. We usually take up pretty much the whole plane, wouldn't you say? I think we take up the whole plane. Pretty close anyways. When we get home, we mentioned the welcome home. There'll be a band. The airport is loaded with people to greet the veterans. And then we have a little ceremony. So it's a long weekend because they have gotten up early on Saturday. They stay overnight, have a banquet. Sunday, they get up, fly home, and now we're going to greet them at the airport. And hopefully some of you will be able to join us sometime. So now we mentioned, both of us mentioned this, mail call and letters. And see all those stacks up there of letters? This is where all you guys come in. And you can see that veteran, that happens to be my dad, showing his packet of letters, and one of our volunteers handing them out. Now, we used to do it on the plane, but now we do it on the buses, so that's why this picture shows the plane. But long ago, as we said, there weren't cell phones. There might have been telephones. But if you were stationed somewhere, it was very, very difficult to make a phone call. Sometimes you couldn't do that. Sometimes you were too busy, the phones were too far away. So the only way that our service people got any information from home was through a written letter. Now that hasn't happened in a while. Still, some of our service people still get letters, but most of the time it's a text, it's an email, it's a cell call if they can. But back then, that was very important. And the veterans would get very excited when they heard somebody say, mail call. That meant some information was coming in. And they could go months without hearing anything from anybody, not knowing what was happening at home. So we have kind of recreated that for our veterans. But who does the letters? Students from all over the area. And you guys are very lucky you're going to be writing letters to veterans for our first spring mission, which we call our TRIPS mission, which is May 3rd and May 4th. And your teachers will have the information when you get back from vacation. I know you're all excited. I was a teacher. And we were always excited for this day, and I bet if you ask your teachers, they're going to tell you the same thing. So I know you're excited about the day to be over with. When you come back, you're going to have an important thing to do, and that is to write letters, and your teachers will help you. They will have the name of a veteran. You will each get one. You'll get a little information about that veteran, maybe where they served, what they did. And as a veteran, what was it you liked about the letters? What would you suggest they write that would really make it special?
Well, what happens is the kids ask questions themselves and they end up getting trapped to answer them back. So we appreciate it. Letters from home, my parents back in the day got me a subscription to the Batavia Daily News. And in order to call Leroy in 1960, they didn't have dial phones. So they had to do the ring downs and all this codes. And then they had to go down up over where the old bank was a telephone office, and then they'd ring your phone. My home phone number was 43. And this, when the dials were coming in, and they'd always laugh at Leroy because we didn't have dial phones. But then in 1963, everybody was downtown and wanted to be the first one to dial Batavia just to see if it would work. So actually, letter writing was the only way that you could really get good communications, and then you could answer back to your people. And as far as going, well, I didn't finish everything, but the hotel that they put us up in, Honor Flight, it was so clean, you thought nobody had ever been in that room. And you'll remember it, you know, my kid took me, well, he was 40-something, but he was retired from the Army, so he got to take Dad on the Honor Flight. So he gives a bite to both apples. So some of you kids, parents or veterans, could take your grandparent on the thing, and then you get two veterans for the price of one. You know, has anybody got any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
You have to speak up, honey.
What is one of my family members I think you go for, and then
Oh, you got somebody like that? This was the end of World War II and Korean War?
Wow.
Are they still living?
he died shortly after.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So actually, that's why it's kind of a hurry to get this trip done. And
Okay.
you know, you kids are being good. What's going on here?
We threatened them.
Hold on.
Miss O'Keefe, you shouldn't have said that. Questions?
Go ahead. How big is the Purple Heart? About that big.
How big of an honor? It's a big honor. Right? A very big honor. You know what? I know you guys got a lot of questions. We have a short video to show you. So how about we look at that video first, and then whatever time we have left after that, then we'll open it up for questions, okay? And then Michelle, would you help with the video?
Three teens were arrested today for defacing the Kensington Park Wall Memorial overnight. The destruction includes painted messages against the military and the war in the Middle East. The three teens were picked up in the early morning hours after the race was left with peace.
Grandpa, something wrong?
Some people sure have short memories. Those who are too young to know need to be taught. Come on, I want to show you guys something.
December 7th, 1941, a day which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval air forces of the Empire of Japan.
At dawn on the morning of the 6th of June, 1944, 225 Rangers jumped over British landing craft and ran to the bottom of these cliffs. 225 came here. After 2 days of fighting, only 90 could still bear arms. These are the boys of Wendigo. These are the men who took the cliffs. These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war. You are men who in your quoted lives fought for life and left the vivid air sounding with your honor.
In the name of God and country, I word to defy gravity. To honor my family, I lived in the belly of the beast.
I fixed the hearts of iron monsters.
I became a well in the water for dignity, for honor, for righteousness' sake, for God and country. I fought for you. I fought for you. For you. I fought for you. I fought for you. I fought for you. I fought for you. For you. For you. For you. For you. I fought for you. I fought for you. I fought for you, and I do it again.
That's usually the reaction. It's a very, very powerful video. You can hear I'm getting choked up, and I've seen it probably 3 dozen times. It never gets old honoring our veterans, never. All right, questions. I think we got about 5 minutes left. Big boy. Well, you could, yes, we have had, not really a parent, but they're a veteran. We have had nieces and nephews take their uncle on an honor flight. I think that's what you're asking. Yes, that would work. Yes. I did not serve in the military. My dad did. He was in the Army during the Korean War. And I went on an honor flight. You could see him in his orange shirt. Talk about the orange shirts, too. And I got off that flight, and I walked right up to another volunteer and said, put me to work. I want to volunteer. This is a wonderful organization. Orange shirts. Let me just take 1 second. See that nice kind of dark orange? Our veterans who fly get that darker orange color. All of the other guardians and the other crew, our volunteers, wear a bright, bright orange, and in fact, very similar to this. And those of us that are in Honor Flight don't call that blaze orange or orange anymore. We call that Honor Flight orange. And the reason that they wear those orange shirts is so when we're down in DC and there's loads of people there, we can always spot Rochester by seeing the orange shirts.
And the other side of the coin, the blaze orange, that's for the guardians and helpers, and the old guys get the lust. Get it?
Not intentional. To my knowledge, it was not intentional. All right, question?
It's not really a question, but my family is like a military family. All of our guardians, we all served in the military. And then when I want to grow up, I want to be in the military.
All right, that's wonderful. Thank you. We often have families, that the son or the daughter are in the service or have been in the service, and they take their parent or their uncle as a guardian. So, yeah, we have families. That's wonderful. Yes. Absolutely. That's a good point. Many times we hear, oh, I didn't go overseas. I wasn't in a battle. I stayed here and I did paperwork. Well, you know what? You were in the service, and whatever you were doing here, all of our service people overseas, if there happened to be a war, or whatever they were doing over there, if you didn't do what you were doing right here at home, they couldn't do what they were doing. So you were important part of that. And yes, that's a veteran. Absolutely. You sign up to be in the service, you go away from your family for a number of years, you give up your life for a number of years, really, to serve. And it doesn't matter what you're doing or where you are a veteran. I saw a hand right here. Oh, another good point. You guys are good. Yes, Honor Flight, the veterans don't pay a thing. Not a thing. The guardians have to pay a little bit to help. But our community in the Rochester, the greater Rochester area, which includes your town here, are so generous that we raise money and the veterans don't have to pay a single dime. And in fact, if they're down in Washington and they want a cup of coffee, do you ever pay for it?
Where?
Down in DC. If you want a cup of coffee, have you paid? Your crew or your guardian?
I wanted it.
There you go. Right, but you don't pay for anything, do you? Not a cent. So yes.
It's hard to spend money
great.
because they just keep away from this stuff. And the guardian, they train them the night before they take you. I don't know what they do, but at least I can close the bathroom stall. I mean, in other words, they stay right with you no matter what happens.
Yeah, that's how we're trained.
It's a fun trip and it's emotional, but you make some friends through the thing. And the other thing too, now my son had 21 and a half years in the Army. He got a college degree. He just sent the bill to the Army. Thank you very much. and that's like finding, $50,000 or $100,000. Go ahead, son.
How long can you be in the Army for?
I was in from 60 to 63.
But you can serve, that can be your career. You can serve 20 years, 40 years. You can do that, and many people do. They make their career in service.
And when you're in your 40s, you kick yourself for not staying.
Yeah. As long as you're safe. Yes, right over, whoops, I'm sorry, we'll go over there in a second. You guys are great. There are usually now between 55 and 60, plus another 55 or 60 guardians. Plus we send another about 20, 25 crew, and that's why we take up most of the plane. Yeah, it's a big trip.
Busing for the veterans. veterans, with the retired veterans, would you like to know?
On the bus? Well, you have to be on the trip to get on the bus. So if you go on the trip, you get on the bus in Baltimore, and then you're escorted by a Patriot Guard, which are motorcycles. Many of them are veterans, and we have a local one right here. They come to our welcome homes as well. So the veterans on the trip, they get on the bus. That's where they get their mail call and the letters. All right.
The lady in the green coat. Well, you get your pick of the litter. You know, you can go 3, 2, some, I don't know if you can go as low as 2, but I know you can go as 3. And I went in what they called the kiddie cruise. In other words, I joined the Navy before I was 18. I was 17 when I went on. And the deal was I could get out the day before I turned 21 because I was still a kid. So that's how I ended up being in as young as I was. Why did I leave early? Well, you don't leave early because you sign up for like a thing that says I'm going to be here for 3 years, you know, or 4 years. When that contract is over, then you can leave. But you just can't say, well, I'm going home. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, I think we have time for two more questions. Okay, teacher.
Could you tell us what you remember most about the letters that you received when you were on the trip?
Yeah.
I'll bet you 50 cents, all of you, that every veteran that got a letter, you know, on the trips, still has them. I got them in my drawer. That's what they think of the letters. I mean, in other words, it lasts that long. And you wonder, where is this kid now? Of course. Okay, you got a question?
Last one?
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Very important.
My mom was also in the war.
Huh?
My mom was also in the war.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you keep your head down, you do all right, you know.
Now, we want to invite you to the welcome home. The veterans that you are writing to will be coming home to the airport on May 4th, and it's in the afternoon. You saw the pictures, lots of people. But we hope that some of you will be able to come, you know, that your parents will bring you. You can bring balloons, you can bring flags, bring a sign. Sometimes if you have a sign with your veteran's name on it, sometimes they may come over and say hello. It's so busy that they don't always see you, but that doesn't mean that your letter wasn't important. So you guys have been a fabulous, fabulous audience. What a great job. I'm so impressed. So, you know, you guys know it's not easy to impress an old teacher, you know, all the time, but I am very impressed with you guys. You have been a wonderful audience. Your teachers are going to do a great job of helping you with those letters, and I hope to see some of you May 4th at the airport. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we know a little bit about Honor Flight and how exciting is. Are you guys excited to write to some veterans and how nice it is to know that you're going to be part of this and part of making someone feel honored and celebrated, because all veterans should be honored and celebrated, okay? So yes, we're going to get information out. We'll get it on Parent Square. So maybe some of you might be able to come to the airport for the welcome home ceremony. I have been a couple of times, and it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Like I said, there's usually a marching band there, and just tons of people with huge posters and balloons and just celebrating these wonderful people who have sacrificed for us.
We're
So
always there, and I'm always running up and
Get your
down.
parking tickets validated too.
yeah, that's true. That's true. No parking.
So don't be afraid to say, hey, Miss Baker, did you see me racing down the hallway?
Okay. Let's thank Mr. Guile and Ms. Baker again for coming. Thank you very much. Yes, I just had, I'm sorry, Keely just had a quick question. She just asked if the veterans write back. I think sometimes they have been known to write back and
You
write to
might
school
have to
here.
get your grandmother to read the veterans writing back to you. Because they like to send it back in cursive.
Good point. Good point. Well, thank you again. We really appreciate it and look forward to growing this too.